Take a little trip with me and hopefully you can see how the hood, suburbs, and Main Street are all connected. Enough respect, kid. I mean, we network across the globe cause it's a global market in case you didn't know. And since we all about information flow, let me be the first one to welcome you to Tech Zone with Paul Amadeus Lane. Let's talk tech cause technology changing the game. It's all good in the hood, it's everywhere. Now let's get to the show cause we live on air, yeah.
Welcome. It's the Tech Zone. I am Paul Amadeus Lane, and I am so happy to have you on this edition of the Tech Zone. It is truly a bananas edition. I mean, it is amazing. I have a former head of NASA joining me, talking about his new startup company and how it's really going to change the game. Now, you heard Uni on the rapper said about technology going to change the game. When you hear Dan Goldin talk about his company, KnuEdge, that theme music that I have will definitely change the way that you think about technology. And technology is something that is not to be feared. We can embrace technology, but just like with anything else, like a car, you have to be careful with it. If you drive that car in an unsafe way, of course, it's not going to be safe anymore. But like with technology, if you stay within the boundaries of what technology is used for, it can change so many lives and it can enhance a lot of things out there. So you don't want to miss my interview with Dan Goldin coming up of KnuEdge. I am just so stoked coming up here in this first segment. Also, in our second segment, we're going to be joined by the folks of Untappd. What is Untappd? Untappd is a beer app that allow you to track how different beers are selling in certain parts of the United States or the world, what your friends are drinking, and even they'll know if you're drinking that Old English 800. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And then how they're able to help people and help companies out with their data just to see how things are going. And then coming up in our third segment, our great friend Veronica Bosgraf will be joining us of Pure Organics. Veronica's company just merged with one of the powerhouses out there when it comes to organic food. We're going to talk about that. But Veronica's also going to talk about how social media has helped her to keep a pulse on her customers. So some of you ones out there who have a business, who have you're an artist, you're a band, whatever you are, if you have fans, you don't want to miss that third segment interview with Veronica Bosgraf. She's going to share some insight of how to use social media to gather some good things that can turn your business around. All right, don't forget, you can always connect with me at paulonwheels.com. That's paulonwheels.com. And we thank you so much for being a part of the E3 coverage. Last week, the show has had a lot of great response. A lot of people have downloaded, they watched it, and I truly appreciate it. It's been a whirlwind for me with the Tech Zone. I had no idea that it would take off the way that it has. And just the fact that I have the former head of NASA who's going to join me is truly, truly amazing. It's actually going to be a two-part interview because he was so gracious to spend a lot of time with me. We're going to air the first segment coming up just shortly, and then the next segment will be aired next week. So let's sit back and enjoy the show. This is the Tech Zone. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. So honored to have this next company with me, KnuEdge. What they're doing out there is keeping up with technology. And as we assimilate them, we need businesses out there who can meet the needs with the Internet of Things, with the vast mobile computing, everything out there. And we're so happy to have two guests join us today from the company. We have Steve Cummings, who is the Chief Marketing Officer, and also honored to have Dan Goldin, founder and CEO with KnuEdge. And Steve, welcome to the program. How are you gentlemen both doing?
It's great. Thanks so much for having us, Paul. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and your listeners.
Hey, it's amazing. And Steve, give us a brief rundown of the company and some of the things that you guys are involved in.
Sure. Thanks very much. So the company is called KnuEdge, and we are a startup that has just come out of stealth mode. We announced ourselves on June 6th. And basically, KnuEdge looks for innovations and literally how to transform how humans interact with technology. So What we've done is introduced a voice authentication and recognition technology that is very powerful and works even in noisy environments. And we've delivered a computing technology for machine learning and signal processing type environments, helping people better understand data, things like that.
And you know what? I think this is amazing that your company is doing this, because as I'm researching this, there's not a lot of people out there doing this. I think you guys are right on the right side of history here when it comes to innovation, Steve.
Thanks very much. You know, it's due to Dan Goldin, who you're about to hear from, and he has, for most of his life, brought new technology innovations to life. So thank you. We really think that we've got some just amazing technology, and I'm actually going to hand over to Dan to talk a little bit about himself and more about the company.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Dan. Welcome to the program, sir. It's an honor to have you on, and how are things going for you today?
They're going really great. It's really a pleasure to be on a program that's based in greater Los Angeles, my old hometown. My daughters grew up here, and I'm thrilled to see the LA Basin have a cutting-edge show like yours.
Thank you so much, Dan. That's really an honor coming from you. And Dan, what made you say this is something I want to do? Started my own company. You were with NASA for many years, and what kind of gave you that desire to do this?
You know, I was with NASA for 10 years. I worked for 3 different presidents running NASA. I launched the shuttle 62 times. I made sure we launched the International Space Station under U.S. leadership, and I think I launched about 174 things into space.
Wow.
That were robots. And in that process, I saw a vision that our information technology systems cost too much, take too long, and weren't user-friendly. And I saw a need to help the American people have tools at their disposal without having to be software experts. Mm-hmm. And the core of the company, the vision that we set up years ago, was we want to empower people to be able to use technology themselves to be more productive in life, to have a higher quality of life, and feel secure when they're using that technology in a time when we have terrible hackers and viruses and other problems. So this is a company that is going to help the future for people here in America and people around the world, and I'll be happy to talk about it, but I was inspired while I was at NASA. I worked in big organizations. I'm an old guy, and I grew up at a time when you went to go work for other people. And I watch all these young people in these startups, and at the age of 65, I did my first startup. And I have an idea, and we have an incredible company, and each of our teammates on that company, we're dedicated to help people having fabulous technology, having it easy to use, and empower their lives.
That was just part one of my interview with Dan Goldin from KnuEdge. And don't forget to tune in next week. We'll have the second part of that interview when Dan expands on more of the company's vision and what's in store for us in the future. And in a couple of years, Dan makes an awesome statement that I concur with 1,000%. Hey, this is the Tech Zone. When we get back, we'll be joined by Untapped. Yeah, you want to know what app out there that can let you know what kind of beer to drink and what's good and what's not, and even the old bubbly. Yes, so we'll be back here on the Tech Zone. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.